Total Lacrosse with Jonny Vegas. I'm your host, Jonny Vegas Namer. I just wanted to say thank you guys for tuning in to my premiere show. Thanks to the Lacrosse Broadcast Network for getting me set up with this gig. And, our guest today is John Christmas. He's an LXM Pro player. He played in the Major League Lacrosse. He plays in the National Lacrosse League, professional indoor. And he's an incredible player. I don't know if you guys saw the LXM Seattle game. It was on the Lacrosse Network on the internet, and it was yesterday. And the game went to overtime, and John Christmas plays for Team Soleil. They were playing against Team STX, and John Christmas got he fed the ball behind the back to one of his Team Soleil teammates, and that player scored the goal and won the game. So John Christmas had the game-winning assist right there, behind the back too, which is pretty awesome. So I'm very pleased to have him on the show. He'll be on in a few minutes, and we're going to talk about all things lacrosse, what's going on in his lacrosse career, coaching-wise, playing-wise, and also we're going to talk about his Encore lacrosse brand. And So we're going to do, next week, we're going to have another LXM Pro player and former Major League Lacrosse player, Sean Lindsay. And this show, we're going to have a lot of LXM Pros. We're going to have Major League Lacrosse guys, NCAA guys, MCLA, NLL. And it's going to be a show that's like all about promoting the growth of lacrosse and just growing the game of lacrosse, growing your own personal game, working out, doing what you have to get better at lacrosse. And, so right now we're just going to go to a few quick commercials to give some love to the companies that have helped us out here. So here we go. We'll be back in about a minute. We want to thank one of our sponsors, Wicked Six Sports, the hottest new brand in lacrosse. Wicked Six is changing the way we look at lacrosse with sick new apparel and custom uniform designs. Give them a look at WickedSixSports.com. Visit them today at WickedSixSports.com and get your team uniforms custom designed with their no-obligation free quote. Wicked Six, totally sick lacrosse apparel for the never-average player. Right, and also I want to give a shout-out to SportsGrid.com. For some reason, the commercial's not working for that, but SportsGrid.com is changing the way athletes are able to go about sharing their schedules, their games, jotting down their stats online. SportsGrid.com is a social networking site, sports networking site, and basically to me it's like the Facebook for sports. So go check that out, SportsGrid.com. And just about in the next 2 minutes here, we'll get John Christmas calling, but. Also, as you guys know, in February I was named the monthly winner for growing the game of lacrosse, and there's some tough competition in that. Payu, he's the guy that's been growing the game in Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, and several other big name guys growing the game. And I just want to say to all you guys listening out there, take your opportunity to grow the game wherever you are. I mean, if your community needs it, if there's a community nearby, just help pass on the torch to the next community that needs lacrosse. And lacrosse is a great sport, and I just want to keep seeing it grow in the right direction, which it is. I mean, it's been growing rapidly, and it's really nice to see. And then also LaxAllstars.com, they're huge on the growth game scene. I mean, it's their motto. They came up with the grow the game movement, and they're going to other countries. They're growing the game in this country, and they have the Grow the Game Invitational in Thailand each year, and they're doing the monthly winners each month, and Easton is getting behind that. Every LaxAllstars.com monthly winner gets Easton prize package to reward them for their efforts. And so I mean, do your job, guys. Get out there and help grow the sport. Also, I wanted to talk about the MLL. This season is coming to an end pretty soon. We got playoffs coming up. There's some big time players stepping up. We got even other teams that didn't make the playoffs necessarily, but there's some really outstanding stuff going on for Lacrosse. I mean, that Joe Von Miller play was just awesome on Sports Center. Here we go, guys. We're gonna pick up John Christmas right now. Hey, John, how you doing? Thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, John. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So you had a big game yesterday. I heard about how the game ended and overtime and stuff. You had a behind the back feed, which was the game-winning assist, I heard.
Yeah. Yesterday was a good game. Alex and Pro tour in Seattle, and it was probably the hottest game that I played in since I was 10 years old, like in Cockeysville, Maryland tournament. Just brutally hot on the turf, 105 degrees, and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, so guys were dwindling. Kind of took a lot of guys a while to get up to speed. Slow start for me, but ended strong, so it definitely made the trip worthwhile. Yeah,
it's good. You guys, you were down there for the whole weekend, or were you guys doing like clinics, or just for yesterday?
Yeah, well, I actually flew in that morning. Woke up at 5 in the morning, and then got to Seattle around 11. Got some food, hung out with the guys, and took a little nap, and went over to the game. And then right after the game was over, we took off and got back to San Francisco. So I have a pregnant wife at home, and I can't do too much hanging out, spending a lot of time away from her. So it was in and out for me.
Well, congratulations with the baby coming up. That's gonna be a big life change, and I've met you countless times, tournaments. You've always been a really nice guy, and your wife and stuff. She's gonna be a great mom, and you're gonna be a great dad too. So good luck and congratulations.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, and also for any listeners that don't know, John played lacrosse at the University of Virginia from 2002 through 2005, where he helped lead the Cavaliers to win the 2003 national championship. How was that experience playing for such a big school for lacrosse and winning that championship?
Yeah, that was unbelievable. 2003. Wow, it sounds so long ago because I remember it just yesterday. That was definitely probably one of the best seasons I've had ever, and winning a national championship on that stage is kind of the pinnacle for most lacrosse players. You can win MLL championships and NLL championships and world championships, but when you're in college, you make that commitment to train all year round and spend countless hours with your teammates and your coaches, and for it to kind of be solidified into a national championship at the end of the year is unbelievable. So that was a great experience, and definitely be something that I show my little son when he's old enough to check it out. So and maybe he'll be following in your footsteps. Maybe he'll, if not UVA, maybe another big-time school for lacrosse. Yeah, well, who knows? We'll see what he's into, and whatever he kind of is passionate about, we can get him into. So.
Yeah, and also you were drafted first round in the MLL in 2005, and you played for Boston Cannons. Right, first year?
Yeah, so I was drafted with the Boston Cannons right after college was over. Literally, we played in the semifinal game against Hopkins, and a week later I was I was drafted by the Boston Cannons and playing with them professionally a week later, and that's kind of how the transition from college to pro goes for a lot of guys. There's no breathing room. You're thrown right back into it, and I couldn't have asked to play for a better team than a lot of guys, like Kyle, and he got drafted to Jersey, and the team kind of ended up folding a few years later, and a few other guys got drafted to places where the attendance, if you will, for the games and the passion from the crowd wasn't as dominant as it was in Boston. I mean, the fans are amazing. The organization was first class, and you really sacrifice a lot of your time and energy. You're flying in and out weekend after weekend, practicing at 10 o'clock at night, and to have those fans there for 5 years when I played was awesome. It definitely made it worthwhile to be able to play in front of so many fans. So it was a great experience as well. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a friend of mine, Chris Eck. He was your teammate on there. He's a face-off guy for the Cannons. He's a great guy. He's a great player. Some of those moves he does, I don't know how he does it. It's amazing to see. But,
yeah, Chris was a big part of I think our success when he graduated from Colgate, and going to, I think especially the face-off at the next level is a big part of the game, and can be pretty tenuous for guys that just graduated, because you have these guys who've been playing for 10 years and who are bigger and a little stronger. And he came right in and he held his own. I think Alex Smith became one of his rivals, and I think Chris is probably one of the best face-off guys in the world, and probably should be a big candidate for the U.S. team coming up. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, and I heard somewhere that you are going to play NLL or professional box again this year?
No, that is not true.
Okay.
My career in the NLL was awesome. I think the way that it unfolded was couldn't have been any better for me. I grew up watching a lot of box lacrosse growing up in Philadelphia, watching the Gate brothers, Kevin Finner and Tom Marichek, guys like Gabby Rowe and Dallas Elliott, and the list goes on and on. Watching those guys play the game, and so it's always kind of been in my consciousness of how to play it and what it's all about. And then graduating, I really had no goals to play in the NLL, and I got drafted and said, well, I'm living in Philly. It's going to be close to practice, and home games will be close. So I was on the practice team, and then worked really hard in practice and made my way onto the field, and then had a good 4 or 5 years playing indoor. And there's a huge there is this kind of, maybe I say, new revolution in lacrosse, where there's this kind of hybrid training for American guys, and coaches realizing how important the skill sets of box lacrosse players are coming from Canada and transitioning to the field game in NCAA. And they're realizing that maybe kids in America should be exposed to the box game a little more. So on one hand, I had a great career, met a lot of amazing coaches and players, and more importantly, I think I got better as a lacrosse player in general from playing box. But for me to be able to teach the game now, because I played for 5-6 years, to younger guys in America is something that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. I mean, I played box from time to time out here in California, and there's just like little small time leagues and stuff around my community, and it's so much fun. I mean, it's really such a workout. I mean, I swear to God, I every time I play box, I'm in much more better shape for outdoor.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's maybe counterintuitive because it's a smaller rink and there's less guys. You think that it might be a little easier, but you're getting pounded on every time you step on the field. there has to be constant movement. There's 5 guys who actually are touching the ball more often than, if you had 10 guys on the field. And the ball doesn't got to bounce. Usually, stays in the rink. So, you're spraying on and off the field. You're cutting the middle hard and taking some poundings. You're setting picks, setting screens, and you're trying to get to the middle hard, with your head up, ready to do something with the ball at all times. So, it's definitely a great, I think, cross-training for outdoor lacrosse players, and there are people that are very enthusiastic about the sport. Shaden Santos is probably one of the biggest ones in America right now, who started Cali Lax in California, in like the San Jose area. He's done an amazing job in the last 5-6 years of really, really focusing on making kids true box lacrosse players, and has just drilled them, night in and night out, the way to play. And it's kind of come to fruition a little bit. They've went up to Canada and won some tournaments up there, which has never been done before. So, it's cool to be in California and be close to that and close to Shaden. And hopefully this is going to be something that kind of takes off all over the country. Yeah.
And can you talk to the listeners a little bit about LXM Pro, the tour and stuff, and just give the listeners a little info about it and your experience playing in it.
Yeah, well, I think there's a few things. One, I think a lot of high school and middle school guys, they all aspire to play in college, and one of the things they should really focus on is that it's a full-time job. If you want to play big-time D1, D2, D3, you're looking at obviously taking care of your schoolwork, but then spending tons of time on the field, in the weight room, watching film, etc. And then, if you're lucky enough to play pro in the MLL, you have to really know what that means. You're kind of giving up all your weekends, and you're traveling a lot. You're spending a lot of time in the airport, losing luggage, and et cetera. So I think the LXM Pro was at the beginning a different option for people to play and still be able to do what they want to do throughout the summer, whether that be, travel or, run camps and do that stuff. And now, after the second year, I think it's really turned into a solid event where the on-field product is very good. So, these last few games, you have Mikey Powell, Kyle Harrison, a lot of the top players in the world, myself, really going out there and wanting to win. I think when I first started, people were wary about, how serious the guys were. And we strap it up. It's, feel like we're in college again. We feel like we're playing for, a national championship, because we don't play that often. You play once every 2 months. So you're getting ready for the event, and I think everything else around it is pretty good too. There are the clinics before. There's a tournament that Adrenaline puts on and kind of follows that tournament series that they're doing. So you have kind of a built-in audience that will just transition from the games to the clinics and right to watching a pro game. I think it's a great idea, and I think as long as the players continue to play the game as hard as possible, and anyone that's watched the last 4 games, there's no doubt that these guys are going all out. It's definitely been a good transition from playing indoor and playing in the MLL. So I think it's here to stay, and I think more and more guys that graduate from college just have the option to do this as something that they want to focus on after big-time college lacrosse. So. Yeah,
I've been to several LXM Pro events, and they've all been very fun to watch the games and the atmosphere. I mean, the kids that go to those events, all the fans and families, they just have such a good time. But all you LXM Pros are so good with the fans, with those clinics and signing autographs. And I mean, I've seen you personally sign so many autographs just in a row, and not even not even like struggle. You're just like, all right, next one, and you're talking to them. I mean, yeah, you guys are really doing a good job.
Well, I think the MLL did a great job of that too. And I remember when I first started playing, there was a huge emphasis with interacting with the fans because it's all about the fans. And we're not at the point, and I hope we never get to the point where you can't get an autograph from a professional lacrosse player because it's worth too much money, or because he doesn't have time. He got to get into his Ferrari and go home. I think that there could be a lot worse things that I could be doing, or situations that I could be in, as opposed to signing an autograph for a kid who looks up to me. So I think that's the kind of general consensus for all the lacrosse guys that play, whatever league they're in. I've never really seen any guy that's saying that he's signing too much autographs. So I think.
Yeah.
I think that's something, especially with the LXM Pro, those guys realize that. And again, it's an event that happens every 2 months. So, whether you're coming from work, being a doctor, a finance guy on Wall Street, or, whatever you're doing, it's a nice break to be able to kind of get back into that role of being a professional lacrosse player and really having fun with it. So, yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about Encore brand. You founded this company, and it's a special social awareness clothing company to create a steady funding source for its underserved lacrosse, for your underserved lacrosse nonprofit. Is that?
Yeah. So I started this 2 years ago, and I think it was really basically a way in 2008 when I started Leaps, an inner city lacrosse program in Philadelphia, to help fund it, because at that time a lot of the funding was being cut. Obviously we're going through a financial crisis, if you will, so funders were less apt to give. And so I said, you know what? I have experience in sales, and I'm always in front of a lot of people. Can I make it? Can I come up with a clothing company that will help fund the things that I'm really passionate about? So it went really well, and we transitioned to now. We've grown to the point where we've taken under our wing more lacrosse nonprofits. So we're partnered up with Lacrosse for Life in San Francisco, Denver City Lax in Colorado, which I don't know if any of the listeners have a chance to just look at the trailer and documentary they did. It was on ESPN. It won a bunch of film awards. They're doing amazing things in Denver. And then my nonprofit in Philadelphia. So, it's a great company. It's kind of a for-profit company working on behalf of nonprofits, and we have our partner nonprofits. We also are kind of transitioning out of lacrosse right now in terms of not just pigeonholing our impact in the lacrosse world, but outside of that. So we're doing these projects and going down to Columbia in September with one of our designers who's from Columbia. And she's doing a collection that's inspired by the cycling world, 6 Gears, she calls it, which is basically bicycling world. And we're going to donate 50 bikes down there and help some kids at a community rec center. And that whole collection that we're going to come out in the fall is going to be inspired by Columbia, by the 6 Gear world. And so, it's kind of just fashion, doing really good things. My dad was a tailor, so that's always been ingrained in me, of having a guy to be able to make clothes for me whenever I wanted. And then obviously lacrosse has been a big part of my life, so the two have come together. So, anyone that wants to check that out, that's encorebrand.com. And you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook to see all the things that we're going to be doing in the coming future. It should be exciting.
Cool. And do you have a Twitter account? Do you want to?
The Twitter is Encore AIC. Our slogan is Action is Character, which I saw a movie probably 3 years ago, and someone said that, and it kind of rung a bell. And that's kind of really true, So it's Encore AIC. And then our Facebook is, Encore Brand. You can check that out. And then the website's encorebrand.com. So, it's one of those things where the lacrosse world, obviously, especially ever since I started playing lacrosse, I feel like it's like 2 degrees of separation. There's this saying that 6 degrees of separation just in life in general. Well, I feel like when you're in the lacrosse network, it's 2 degrees. Like literally, if I want to, talk to the president of Turkey, I don't even know if there's a president of Turkey, I could probably find a way to do that within the lacrosse connections within the lacrosse world. So I think being a lacrosse player and kind of saying that you want to play this sport and be heavily immersed in it sets you into a path of having an amazing network. And with that being said, I think the way that this sport is growing, and like your slogan is "Grow your game." A lot of people's is "Grow the game." Not only is there an opportunity to ride that wave of the growth, but I also think there's an opportunity for everyone in the lacrosse world to kind of take on that responsibility of saying, all right, well, we love this game and we love the sport, and we have a lot of resources here to actually help out, whether it is to grow the game and, in my mind, the last frontier, which is the inner city, and then also just do some good things with all the connections you have, and so that's what we're really focused on.
Yeah. Yeah, and, I just want to say thank you so much for being on the premiere of my radio show. Maybe I'll have you on again if you'd like, maybe, a few shows down the road or a few months down the road, and, just catch up on things and stuff.
Absolutely. Maybe a little follow-up in a year or so. But, hey, I'd like to thank you for having me on, John, and it was great meeting you these last few times, especially I think the last time I met was in Tahoe, and it was impossible to breathe. Hey, you're doing a great job of growing the game. I think the more people that can do stuff like this that you're doing, or, like the Lacrosse Network on YouTube and ESPN and all those guys, I think it's great for the game. So keep it up, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man.
All right.
Have a good time playing lacrosse. Keep it up, dude. All right.
All right. I'll talk to you soon, John.